Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and you know it's going to be a good video whenever I bring out my fancy shirts because it gives this sense of elegance, but it cost me $12 at Marshall. So this video right here is going to save you a ton of money, and it's all about, when you walk into a dealership, you don't know what you're walking into so you don't walk out without any money and a bad deal. Now, by the way, I'm a guy. Most of you guys are guys. Only around 20% of you guys are actually girls, and that is awesome. Welcome to the channel, all right? But I never knew, and I never felt this feeling, for example. I've always wondered, what would it be like if I was a girl? Stop. I'm just doing a video and an example. So stop with the commenting, just put your keyboards away. Now, if I was a girl, and I was a hot girl, and I was in a room filled with guys, what would that feel like to get all of that attention? Or be on Instagram and being a hot girl and getting all of that attention all the time? What would that feel like? Like all the ladies watching this video right now, I know you're pretty, so I know you know what this feels like. But for us guys like me who don't look that pretty, we don't know what that feels like. That is, until I walked into a dealership. I've never felt so special in my entire life. Everything was so perfect. I walked in, a bunch of people, what can we do to help you, Mr. Tommy, Mr. Bryson? I'm like, I've never heard somebody use Mr. in front of a first name, but I like it. Do you want a coffee? Do you want some tea? Do you want some water? Do you know the car you want? Let's show you around this and that. And when I found a car that I actually liked, they were like, do you want to go for a test drive? Let's test this car out. And when we finally got into the salesman's office, hey, Tommy, just want to let you know, we are going to do everything, or I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you get the best deal possible. And that's when I knew I was surrounded by sharks and I was in danger, okay? I knew I was in danger because everything was too perfect. I assume that's how a lot of those ladies kind of feel like, okay? So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do when you walk into a dealership, because there are three main things that they do. Not just, it's not a scam, it's all business, all legal, but it's a lot of psychological tricks that you don't really see, and a lot of techniques that these salesmen have spent years perfecting to basically make sure when you walk out happy, but they walk out with, or they stay in because they're not walking out anywhere. They stay in the dealership with more money, all right? So let's get directly into this video. Do me a favor, as always, long-term thing, smash the like button. It helps a lot. On top, if you're new here, subscribe and join the family. Now, the very first thing is, guys, okay, you walk into a dealership and you know what you want usually. You see this car, whether it's red or it's yellow. I love yellow cars, by the way. Won't get one too much attention. And you see this car, you're like, yo, this is the car I want. And you go into the office and they basically tell you, look, we're going to do everything possible to make this deal work. The car is only around $30,000 at 5%. You're going to be paying somewhere around $566. However, you make around $45,000 a year. You're like, yo, that's way too much money. Like, I cannot afford that. Right there, what do they do next? They tell you, hey, I'm going to talk to my boss. I'm going to make this deal work as much as I possibly can. You're going to walk out of here with a car, no problem. And they usually ask you this question, which is basically a follow-up to know exactly what your break-even point basically is, and tell you, hey, if I can get this car below 500, will you walk away with it? Because I want to make sure when I go into my boss's office, I know exactly what to say, okay? And they're like, oh my God, this guy is working, or this lady is working for me. They actually care. They want to get me a good deal, all right? So guess what happens? They go into the office and they come back to you and they tell you basically, hey, I got this car down to around $424.02 per month for you. And you're like, wow, they went beyond. Below 500, great, but $424, that is a massive deal. This is great. And guess what you do? Because you kind of said, yeah, below 500, I'm buying it. You have to confirm what you basically told them you would do. So now you do what you said you would do, because people love doing that. People like confirming who they say they are. Usually people want to stay consistent with their character, and dealership salesmen understand philosophy. Is it psychology? Psychology, all right? Now, here's what happens next, guys, okay? You go home and you're walking or driving, I'm sorry, I'm just not here today. But you're driving your brand new red car and you're like, basically, I love this car. After 3 days, the new car smell kind of goes off. The babies or your wife, your girl kind of just spills something in there. It's kind of like, okay, still my new car, I still love it, but things kind of wear off. You kind of realize they never really worked with me. I never really got a discount. Like, I never got an actual discount on the actual selling price. What this guy basically, or girl basically did was, they basically made the terms a lot longer. So the initial number of $566 was at 5 years, while the number of $424 was basically at 7 years. So what he or she worked with was basically just the term of the loan. So you walked out paying the same exact price, but in actuality, you're getting a lower monthly payment, and in reality, you end up paying even more. So here's my unsolicited advice here. Whenever you walk into a dealership, it's very important to know a few things. First of all, in business, right? The only way to operate a business is like this. If you buy something to sell something, obviously you can't buy it for $1, sell it for $1, and make a profit. Obviously, there's no profit there. So if you buy it for a penny, you want to sell it for 5 pennies, you want to have a profit somewhere. So obviously, the dealership has a cost to this vehicle. The faster you find out, hey, what is the dealership cost for this vehicle? They're going to tell you usually. Dealerships will provide this information because if they don't give it to you, you'll go somewhere else where they're actually going to give it to you. This basically tells you, hey, here's how much the dealer actually paid for this vehicle. Now, it doesn't end there. Because you might say, for example, by the way, MSRP stands for manufacturer suggested resale price, I think it is. So the idea is that's what this suggests, right? The manufacturer. But in reality, if they paid, let's say, $25,000, they're selling it for $27,000. There's a $2,000 gap in there. You're like, well, you know, you guys have the car here. It's parked. It gets dirty. You got to wash it. You got employees. You got salespeople. So obviously, I got to pay you somewhere in between us. We can make money, but it doesn't end there because in reality, they make money also via rebates. So whenever they sell a car, they make money because the manufacturer pays them extra money on that. There's also dealer holds. Whenever they sell a car around MSRP, guess what they do? They get around 1 to 3% extra. So there is money being made all over the place. And whenever they approve it for a loan, they can make money on the difference. So there's money being made everywhere. So if you only pay attention to basically the dealer costs, the idea is they're going to make a lot of money from you. So what you can do to make sure you get the best deal absolutely based on the sell price, not based on the terms of the loan, because by the way, people don't know this, but before you walk into a dealership, you can go to multiple banks and credit unions and basically get pre-approved for a car loan with different terms, right? And when you walk into a dealership, you already have your loan terms. So what you really need to negotiate on is basically just the price. That is the real objective, to save money on the actual price, because the monthly payment does not symbolize anything, all right? They extend it to make it lower. It's like me telling you, hey, I'm gonna sell you this car, $50K. 5 years, can't afford it. 100 years, can you afford it? Yeah, for sure. But how much interest are you paying? That's the point. So know all the details. What is the dealership cost, okay? What are the rebates you're basically getting for this car? You do all the research online, so when you walk in, you get the best deal possible on the actual car. Now, let's fast forward, because this is example number 2, the second way they actually get you, all right? So you've been in this car now for 3 to 4 years now. Your loan is almost about to be over. Most people get like a 5-year loan. People that really want a car but they can't afford it get a 7-year loan. But overall, you get into the dealership, you know, you're there for your average oil change or your wheel rotation because they told you, hey, we are the house. We sell this car. We are the best at this. But in reality, they just want to make sure they can basically follow up on you when the time comes to make more money off of you. Because anyone out there that's a mechanic, that's a professional, they basically studied it, they also know how to do that service, all right? So you walk in and you're like, I'm just here for this tire change or whatever it is. And they tell you, hey, you know, your car is getting a little older. It's going to start losing value very soon. So why don't we get you into a new car? You know, the 2023 or 2024 or whenever you watch this video, because it's never going to end. It's a very great game that they basically play. Now, you say, wow, really? Okay. And you start to negotiate and you say, well, how much will you give me for this trade-in? And how much will you give me on the new car? Can you actually help me with that price? Now, what do you have here? You have 2 factors. You're trying to basically lower the price of the actual car you're actually going to buy. And you're also trying to get the most money off of the trade-in. The dealer guy knows this, and he's gonna play around with these numbers to make sure he makes the most profit off of you. So what do you do here? Well, I gotta be honest here, and I gotta give a shout out to Rodney Samuels TV. He's a YouTuber. Here's a video I found about him, and this video right here is amazing. It is great. Now, Rodney is very important in this story because Rodney is actually an ex-salesperson in a dealership. So he knows the secrets, and he's willing to expose it to make some money, obviously. Okay, capitalism is great. Now, here's what I will say. Rodney goes into detail here. He says, whenever we have multiple factors to play with, so we have, for example, the new car and also the trade-in, what we're usually going to try to do is get you to win on one side but lose on the other side. That will make money off of both anyways. Because basically, if we give you a discount on the car but give you a terrible trade-in value, we make money anyways. That's the idea, okay? They make the most money possible. So what can you do so when you're ready to trade in a car, you actually get the best deal? The answer is according to Rodney. And by the way, check out his channel. He has great info over there. But I saw his car videos, which are great. I don't know about the rest of the videos. So if he has some weird stuff there, I'm not responsible. So use judgment when going to his channel. Now, here's what I'll say. He says, when you walk into a dealership and you sit down there, you know the car you want, right? Whether it's green, blue, yellow. I love yellow. And you say, I want this car, right? And you try to work on the price. And when the dealership salesman asks you, do you have a trade-in? You say, no, I don't have a trade-in. And by the way, you're not lying because you're saying no right now. Okay, effectively, you're saying no right now. So you say, no, I don't have a trade-in. So what are you going to try to work on here? One factor, the price of the vehicle you're trying to buy, whether it's used or new. So you work on this price because basically, you know their dealer costs, you know they're getting rebates, you know they have incentives, so you're going to try to get the biggest discount possible, but make sure they make money too, because obviously, if you try to squeeze them too hard, they're not going to sell you the car because they need to make money too. It's how business works. We understand that. We're just not trying to get scammed all the way, so that's why we want to negotiate. Don't be afraid to negotiate. It's very important, okay? Negotiation is key. Now, you negotiate with this person. You get the car down to the best price possible. What do you do next? You say, hey, this is a great deal. I really got to think about it. I'm going to talk to my wife about it. But can you give me a paper basically telling me, hey, we worked on this price and you're going to give me this car at this price. Now, they give you the paper. They say, yeah, we're going to give it to you at this price, which is a great deal for you. You walk away. And by the way, my excuse is always, I got to talk to my wife about this. And by the way, I'm not married. I'm actually single. But it always works because people always understand that. Oh, gotta talk to his wife. That's fine. That's normal stuff, okay? So you come back either, for example, the next day, or you come back after lunch and you say, hey, I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm actually gonna trade in my car. But when you come in to trade in your car, what do you have with you? You have the trade-in information, okay? You know, because you went on Kelly's Blue Book, what your car is actually worth estimate-wise, okay? Because, by the way, when you go to Kelly's Blue Book, make sure you put in the right information, your car model, the style, the extras. Also, is it in good condition, in fair condition, or excellent condition? And by the way, don't call it good condition just one stain because it's not good condition, fair condition, okay? That's the idea. Be honest, like Rodney says. Now, when you walk in there and you're dealing with the trade-in now, that's another factor. Because you already got a great deal on the price they're actually going to sell you the car for, but now they got to work on you with the trade-in value. And that's one factor to worry about, and you got to get the best deal on that. This way, you walk out of there with two great deals and not, for example, one mediocre deal and then one not so mediocre deal, okay? Does that make sense? So whenever you're ready to trade in, make sure you do one at a time. The worst thing to do when you're in war, and this is like war, is to give someone everything you have and be completely honest with everything you have, okay? That's not good because it exposes all of your negotiation tactics, okay? That's the idea. Now, that's number two, and I'm going to move off to the third example here, the last one, and then I'm going to leave you guys to do it, okay? Because it's exciting stuff. Now, they're going to try to squeeze out every ounce of juice out of you. Be careful because this one is simple, but it's very important. Whenever you walk in, I don't know if you ever bought a suit or something very expensive. I sure haven't, but I read about it in psychology books. And whenever you go to buy a suit or anything expensive, what's the first thing they try to sell you? It's not some socks or a tie or a shirt. No, it's the actual vest, because that's the most expensive part. So let's say, hey, this vest right here is 300 bucks, 500 bucks. Or you go to Costco, the first thing you see, for example, is the expensive TVs. Everything's expensive at first, and then you walk into less expensive stuff. You know why? Because they know for a fact, when I show you this $25,000 car and you're gonna buy it, we negotiate on it, you got a great deal on it, and I tell you about, for example, extended warranty or this add-on or that add-on to actually make sure the car is taken care of, you're gonna say yes, because you're gonna say, hey, that's just $300 or $500 or $100. Doesn't matter. It's just nothing compared to $25,000, okay? That's the contrast principle in marketing. Now, my advice is going to be this. Understand that. And whenever you're done getting the great deal, right? When you reach the end and they're gonna sell you on something else, you say, hey, thank you. That's enough. I'm walking away. Just walk out with what you came to get. So whenever I go to one place to buy something, because I know they have a great price on it, I go somewhere else to get the other things I need, because basically they have better prices than they do. It's like buying a suit for like $300 and then they're selling you a tie for like 60 bucks that they cost them like $5 to actually get. The margins are gonna be in the smaller items, although they are for smaller prices. That's the idea, or less prices, okay? Or less expensive. That's the word I'm actually looking for. So that's the idea, guys. And overall, last piece of advice here is this, okay? Whenever you're buying a car, just a rule of thumb here, make sure you don't have more than half of your income in cars. So basically, if you make 40K a year, don't buy more than 20K worth of cars. Like, it's too much, it's too expensive, right? And on top of that, whenever you buy a vehicle, buy it used, 3 to 5 years old, to get maximum discount when it comes to depreciation. So the person that bought the car for $30,000, you're gonna get it at $15,000 at a massive discount, because basically you're buying it used. And by the way, for everyone watching this video saying, Tommy, used cars are not good, they're not reliable, they're just bad vehicles. Whenever you're on the highway or just in traffic, look around you. Everyone is driving a used car. So used cars can be good. Just get Toyotas, Hondas, Mazdas, reliable brands. And lastly, whenever you buy a car, pay cash. This way you're not worried about financing, adding extra strain to your finances and everything else, okay? That's the idea. Now, this means obviously that initially when you want to buy a car, you might be only able to afford a $2,000 car. Not that nice, reliable, but that's the one you can afford. And then take those monthly payments you would have paid towards the other car and save it up for a year or 2 years, and then buy a really nice car that you actually like. But again, it's your car and you're paying cash for it. A lot of people that spend $500, $700 every single month on a car. Terrible investment. Don't do it. Guys, that is it. And by the way, the end to my story is this. When I got all that attention, I knew I was in danger, and I walked out of there. I went to Facebook. I bought my car for around $9,000. It was going to the dealership for $12,000. And I basically got almost a 44% discount, I think it is, or is it 66% discount? I think it's 44% discount. Basically, I saved like $4,000 on my car. And although the person that sold to me said, hey, you know, the car is perfect, I knew the battery was bad, tires needed to be changed, but between all those costs, I still saved so much money. That's what I did. But there are still great deals in dealership, but you just got to know how to negotiate, okay? Understand business is business. And by the way, if you made it all the way here, comment down below car. So I know you made it all the way to this part of the video. I appreciate you a ton. I really do, and I appreciate it. And if you want this t-shirt, go to Marshall's. It looks fancy, but it's $12, okay? As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. Up here is another video, and over here is my face. And on top of that, follow me on Instagram at TommyBryson. Long-term team officially out.